All right, welcome back, Levesters, to the Joe Levy Experiment, and welcome to the most important video of my life.
Blow the whistle. For blow the whistle.
I've done videos about presidential candidates. I've done videos about child molesters. I've done videos about men's mental health. But this right here is the video I'm most excited for, the most important video of my life. I've done the most research into this video. I'm honestly pretty nervous myself, like even in my room, I'm nervous. I put a lot of pressure on myself for the video, so I really hope it goes well. This video is called Boyfriend Reviews Gossip Girl. All right. Those who've been following me for a long time know, it's my first time in a serious relationship and with a girl that I love. And there's a universal experience for guys. There's a universal experience. The universal experience is, you want to watch a cool show. You want to watch an action show where someone's getting punched in the face and someone's beating someone up and someone's using racial slurs and gay slurs and people are being degenerated and a boom, boom, boom explosions. And your girlfriend, she wants to watch a chick show and she wants, baby gossip. It's a universal experience. But guess what? Not for me, baby. I wanted to watch this show. I was excited about this show, and I'm excited to review it, baby. All right? My girl, she wanted to watch shows about men being murdered and cult documentaries and shows about guys, and they join a cult, and they cut their head off, and they plant their head into the ground in a forest, and then outgrows a new tree, and they worship that tree as part of a sicko cult fantasy. Not me. I just want to watch girls have a good time, all right? I'm a simple guy. I work hard during the day. I want to come home. I want to watch girls have a good time, laugh, and spread some gossip. So we started watching this show called Gossip Girl. A lot of you guys have probably seen it before, probably fans of it, probably years ago. But I just saw it. I went in spoiler free, so I had a bunch of thoughts on it. I was thinking about it. This show has been on my mind for 5 months now, and I just want to share my thoughts about it, share what I think about it, and hopefully you guys enjoy. First things first, this will be a spoiler review. Spoiler warning. Believe it or not, even though the show came out in 2007, right before Barack Obama was elected president, I actually went into this show spoiler-free. I did not know who Gossip Girl was. I really did not know much about the show. All I knew was the name. All I knew was the hook, and I was really intrigued right away. We started watching the show. My G was like, yeah, it's a show about this girl, and she's an anonymous blogger, and she writes stories about these girls in high school, and we try to figure out who she was. And right off the bat, I was hooked. Now, I know this kind of type hook has been done to death at this point, where there's an anonymous figure and you have to figure out who that figure was. To me, I felt it was done very well here, right? There's shows like Pretty Little Liars that I've done this hook before. There's, it's even incorporated to other shows now, that's not the main focus of it, but the whole idea of an anonymous figure writing about these certain characters and it's one of us and who is it? That's kind of been done to death in the zeitgeist already, but I felt like this show was original with it. It hooked me. It felt very well done, and I really enjoyed it. So, what I want to do is kind of go over my overall thoughts about the show, what I liked, what I didn't like about it, and then I'll kind of go over who I thought Gossip Girl was, and as I do that, I'll kind of review my characters, give my thoughts about the characters, what I think about them, and how they drive me crazy, and things like that. So, first things first. The set design and the wardrobe of this show is truly beautiful. Whoever did this should win a Grammy for how great the set design was. It was really great. I feel like every character, their wardrobe matched their personality. Like Serena, right? Her dresses were more effortless and more exemplified her natural beauty. She didn't have to try as hard. Where I thought Blair, her outfits were great, but she had to do more to exemplify her beauty, right? She had to wear a bow. She had to wear a corset. She had to wear a ribbon, right? So Serena's outfits were more put this skirt on and look cute and put this jewelry on. Blair had to do more, right? Which kind of ties into the whole show of Blair never feeling as good as Serena, always going to try harder than Serena, while Serena could just kind of be herself, right? And whenever she wants to take the power back, she can. She can just take that power back whenever she wants, right? That was actually one of the interesting parts of the show, is that Blair schemes and schemes and schemes, right? And that Serena can just kind of come in whenever she wants and just kind of take over in an instant, right? She wants Dan back, she gets Dan back. She wants Nate, she fucks Nate, right? Well, Blair has to work hard and work hard. Serena could kind of just like do what she wants. Now, to put this in boy terms, like, you know that, put this in basketball terms for my boys out there, because I want this video to like relate to the guys who have to watch these girl shows with their girls, even though this was my idea. I wanted to watch this show, and I love to watch this show, right? We all know that guy who's just naturally gifted at ball. Like, he just shows up with a backpack on, he just drains, he doesn't give a fuck, he's wearing a hoodie, and he's insane at ball. And we all know that one guy who just practices every day. He's doing layup lines, he's doing behind the backs, he's doing crossovers. He has to work really hard to get to that same level that the guy who's just, you know, smoked a joint off his mom's couch could come in and drop 30 on you, right? It's kind of like the James Harden versus the Kobe Bryant, right? Serena is more like James Harden, where, you know, prime James Harden, just naturally gifted, goes to the strip club the night before, goes to Houston, dropped 50, right? Harden was a bucket back in the day. Harden would just come in, bam, 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 boom, 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 boom. Serena is like Kobe Bryant, right? No, I mean, Blair is like Kobe Bryant, just like kind of pump fake in the post, move around, shaking and shaking, boom, boom. And at the end of the day, Kobe probably had a better career than James Harden, 100% a better career than James Harden, but, you know, that's not the same results in the show, but just kind of give you a general idea of the outfits match that perfectly. Okay. So I thought the outfits, the set design was great. I felt like I was there. I feel like Nate, just because the rich kid doesn't need to dress cool, just kind of wears what he wears. Dan dressed horribly. Chuck outfit looks great. My only problem, my biggest problem with the wardrobe and the set design in the show is the final episode, right? The dress they gave Blair and the dress they gave Serena to get married, unacceptable. Unacceptable. The were giving them such beautiful outfits. The whole show, beautiful outfits. What does Blair get? What is she getting married in? I mean, the outfit they gave Blair to get married, it's blasphemous. It's laughable. Blair would never get married in that. It was just not right. It was not it. It did not fit the vibe. Chuck has a beautiful tuxedo when he gets married. It matches him perfectly. They did Chuck justice. And then Serena has a poor person wedding in her apartment. What was that? That was disgusting, because the end of the show felt very rushed. I mean, to give Blair a big royal wedding, and then to give Serena a 2-minute poor person wedding in her apartment, honestly despicable, and honestly almost ruined the entire show for me. The fact that they disrespected Serena that much to give her that shitty of a wedding. Okay, besides from that, I thought the wardrobe and set design was pretty good. Just unacceptable towards the end. Really, I felt like it was rushed and it was disgusting. Really. Okay. I felt for the most part the show played by its own rules, right? A big thing in storytelling is you have to play by the rules you set out, right? So, you know, every show, every movie, every story, every book has its own rules, right? And you have to operate within those rules. That's why in Toy Story, it feels realistic for the toys to talk, but it would feel unrealistic if Buzz Lightyear pulled out a gun and shot Woody in the head. You'd be like, oh, that wasn't part of the rules of the show. We didn't know the toys could commit genocide and murder each other and decapitate each other's bodies, right? Like, that wouldn't fit the narrative or the rules the own set. So I felt like Gossip Girl, for the most part, played within the rules these set up, except for when Chuck's dad came back to life. I didn't like that. I felt that was the one time the show broke its own rules and kind of made you suspend your disbelief a little bit. Like, oh, he came back to life. Okay, great. And we accepted it because it felt a little believable, like, oh, this guy's a mastermind. But at the same time, it felt a little bit, okay, we'll give you this because it's been 6 seasons so far of realistic. So as an audience member, we allowed them to break the fourth wall, let's say, and okay, we'll give you that. Okay, Chuck's dad comes back to death, we'll give it to you, even though it's not as realistic as the other seasons made the show to be at. Okay. So the main thing with this show is the characters. The characters drive you insane in this show. I mean, the choice of men Serena chooses to date it makes you want to gag because she's Serena Vanderwoodson and she's falling for these losers. And not only is she like, she's hooking up with these losers, she's letting them manipulate her and play her and like, and have their way with her. And like, she's like falling in love with them. Like Serena, it's one thing, like go get off, like fuck this guy. But like, she's really like, she believes in people too much, right? So like, Serena and Nate are the only two characters in this show. And even though I hate Rufus, okay, I'll give Rufus, who have like a good heart and want the best for people. Even though Rufus makes me sick, and I'll get into more how Rufus actually makes me sick and want to vomit as a man and as just like a person. But we'll stick with Serena and Dan for now. They both have good hearts. So like watching Serena choose a boyfriend, it's like, you know when you're watching a horror movie and you know the monster's behind the door and you're like, don't go through the door. Don't go through the door. Don't go through the door. And then they go through the door. That's what it's like watching Serena choose her men. You're like, Serena, what are you doing? The gambling addict who has his daddy's money and is going to rehab, or this married man who's a fake Kennedy, this politician who's going to kill you in a car accident. What are you doing? And then she chooses Dan at the end. Like, yo, what are you doing, Serena? Like, know your worth, girl. Like, you're out of this world. Like, you have to have some like self-worth. Like, I know you have daddy issues. I know your mom's like a crazy manipulator, but like, girl, like, you're Serena Vanderwoodson. Like, have some respect. So like, that was like the most frustrating part of the show. Like everything, just like watching Serena choose loser guy after loser guy after loser guy. And in the final season, she finally gets like almost engaged to this one guy who's actually a human being and like has a daughter and is actually a purpose. And then he screws her over. Like she finally chooses like, okay, this guy seems normal. This guy seems like he has a daughter he cares about. He loves his daughter. Oh, from like a real guy that exists in the world, Serena Canadian. Oh, now he has a sex tape, but damn, no, he can't accept her. Which I get it as a man, but like, it just felt like sickening. And I felt the whole show, like I felt bad for Serena. And it made me hate Serena at times because I'm like, bro, what are you doing, girl? Like, what are you doing? At least Blair, like, she had her one delusion. Like, she liked Chuck, and at times, like, yo, you don't need to be with Chuck. Like, you're better than him. But, like, at least she was consistent in that. Serena was just, only thing she was consistent is choosing these inconsistent guys, which, like, I feel like I had a chance. Honestly, like, any guy watching the show, even though Serena is meant to be, like, this beautiful Barbie-esque, like, perfect lady, as a regular guy watching the show, like, yo, this girl is so stupid, she might go for me. Like, that's how stupid they make her seem at times. Okay, let's get down to business here. Who I thought Gossip Girl was, and then we'll discuss the characters and how they develop. Okay, so I'm going to put this list on screen right now. I don't know what I was thinking. Bro. Now looking back at it, it makes sense it was Dan. And I know it was added last minute and the writers didn't think it was going to be Dan. And they changed their mind, blah, blah, blah. It makes sense it was Dan. I know there's scenes where he's reacting to the Gossip Girl blast, alone and shocked. I get it. That doesn't bother me that much, really. I accept it was Dan. I'm not upset with the reveal. When they showed it being Georgina for a little bit, I was sick. I was sick to my stomach. When they faked you out and made you think Georgina was Gossip Girl, I was literally wanting to throw up. Like, I literally wanted to kill myself. I'm like, you can't make it Georgina because it's just too on the nose to be Georgina, and it just would feel too stupid. Like, oh, okay, Georgina's Gossip Girl. Yeah, okay. It would feel stupid. I'm happy the writers had more respect for the audience than to make Georgina Gossip Girl, right? And I'm sure it was originally, might have been her, whatever. It was going to be Serena's gay brother. That would have been stupid. That would have been so homophobic. If they literally made it Serena's gay, like, a gay younger brother because he's gay and likes to gossip, that legitimately would have been homophobic. Like, I'm not even kidding. That would have been a hate crime. To make Serena's gay younger brother Gossip Girl would have legitimately been a hate crime. Like, not even kidding. Okay. So let's go through my likelies. I thought it was Vanessa, Jenny, Lily, Lily's sister, and then Blair and Dorota. Okay, to address the Blair and Dorota, I did not like the idea. Some people thought it would just be Dorota. That would honestly make me sick. If Dorota was scheming behind Blair's back as Gossip Girl the whole time, it would have actually ruined the show for me. Because it would have been like, what? Dorota, like, her job is to be loyal to Blair. Like, Blair is employing her, giving her work. Like, it seemed like Blair actually treated her well besides her bitchy attitude. So, like, It would have been really sad to me if they made Dorota Gossip Girl, and Blair wasn't involved in some sort of. Now, like Blair and Dorota as a team, I would have fucked with, but like just Dorota as Gossip Girl without Blair would have made me very upset. Okay, Lily, one of the best characters in the show. Great character. She was on point. She took care of the family. She didn't care about your feelings. She did what needed to be done. Unlike Serena. Now, I hope Serena in the future grows into the woman that Lily grows into and could wear the same outfits that she could. But Lily, really, Lily was the girl. Lily was the real it girl of the whole show. Lily and Blair's mom were the real, like, it girls who, like, stood on business and took care of what needed to be taken care of. Okay? So, I thought it might have been Lily for a second, but I put her in there kind of just as, like, oh, okay, Lily. Now, Lily's sister would have made sense. Lily's sister would have made sense the same way Vanessa would have made sense. Like the poor outcast looking into the rich people who have agendas and want to be in that life, but don't really want to be in that life, but kind of jealous of certain aspects of that life. So Lily's sister, I thought would have been actually a great reveal if it could have worked. Now, Lily's sister, honestly, I thought she was a great character in the show. To show her like young in the punk scene and kind of like what she turned into today felt very realistic. Like it felt very real and very human. Like you start off as a young girl, like fuck it, I'm gonna move away. I'm gonna go to LA, become an actress, get involved in like the punk grunge scene, and the punk grunge scene is comprised of a lot of rich kids who are running away from that. So that felt cool, and it was the same way like Blair going to college felt real. The same way she like becoming like an old bitter woman felt real. So yeah, Vanessa. And then Lily's sister, kind of the same thing, right? Now, Jenny. I did write Jenny. First of all, I don't get the hate on Jenny. Jenny is literally just being a girl. Like, literally just being a girl, trying her best, who's very talented, and got, like, sexually assaulted throughout the entire show, and people, like, literally hate on her. They literally hate on Jessie for getting sexually assaulted and, like, standing up for herself. Like, it's actually sickening how people hate on Jenny. Okay. Because my girl's friends are walking like, oh, fuck Vanessa, fuck Jenny. What did Jenny do? She got sexually assaulted the first episode from Chuck, and then got fucked by Chuck later on, and like literally got like drugged and tried to get like someone tried to make Jenny get raped, and like she literally is just trying to exist and like find her voice in the world, and people literally hate on her. It's actually disgusting. Okay. But I honestly, even though I have Dan on the bottom of the list, which huge oversight by me, very stupid, I feel kind of vindicated the fact that I have Jenny on the list, because like at least Jenny kind of knew about it. At least she was part of the grind. Like the fact that Jenny's on that list made me not feel so bad that I had Dan on the bottom of the list. Okay, so I feel like basically what was I saying? Okay, Dan and Nate have like to me opposite character arcs. Right? Because when I first watched the show, I was fucking with Dan. I'm like, okay, he's like an outsider, but he's writing and he's creative, and like he's liking this girl is out of his league, and he gets the girl, and like he loses his virginity to her. I'm like, it felt like, okay, Dan's like the guy I'm rooting for here. Well, Nate, to me, Nate's that cool rich guy who just gets whatever fucking girl he wants, and like he's like, to me, Nate was like, I know people like Nate, like everyone knows guys like Nate, where it's like, oh, fucking your life is easy, you just get whatever girl you want, you don't have to work hard for anything. And then I'm like, you're entitled, right? Towards the end of the show, I felt the opposite. Dan felt entitled to a world he didn't belong in, and Nate felt like, no, I want to actually work my way in this world, and yes, I'll use my privilege that I do have, but I still want to work my way and do it the right way. Like, whatever that means. Like, obviously, Nate can't start from the bottom the way Dan did, but at least Nate felt less like, honestly, towards the end, it felt like Nate had a harder life than Dan did. Like, Dan, like, you're taking a limo to school now. Like, your dad is a sugar daddy and married a rich girl. You have the same privilege everyone else does now. You have the money. Like, I don't care if you didn't grow with it, you have it now. So, like, Dan and Nate's character arcs feel complete opposite. Where in the beginning of the show, I liked Dan, and I did not like Nate. Then towards the end of the show, Nate just fucks so many girls, you have to love him. Like he's fucking this girl. You just have to love Nate towards the end. He's just such a cool guy. Yeah. So we'll get there. Okay. Okay. Now let's get to Joe's maybes. Okay. Serena's dad was a maybe. I threw that there for fun. Like, I don't know, he maybe wants to get his daughter back in his life. This is his way of trying to reconnect with his daughter by, like, you know, making a a blog about his daughter in some kind of weird divorced dad type way. So that's why I had Serena's dad and the maybe. I thought it would have worked. I really liked the idea of it being an older character. I felt like that would have been like really cool because you think Gossip Girl is like a young girl, and then they make it a guy, which I liked also. But like to have Gossip Girl as like an older character would have been an extra twist on top of it. So I really like that also. I like the idea of that. Okay. So, Nelly Yuki, I did not want it to be any of Blair's minions. I thought if it was one of Blair's minions, I would have been really disappointed. Happy it wasn't Nelly Yuki. Georgina, I would have been so upset if it was Georgina. Let's talk about Georgina for a second. Okay. Great character. I thought at times they didn't know what to do with her. Like, she didn't, like, need to be there, but you wanted her in because she was a fan favorite. So, I liked her Georgina in there. Right, like she just comes back, she causes chaos. I thought it was funny when she like becomes Catholic for a little bit, right? And then she just like goes completely back to being like the Georgina she is, and she helps them out. So like, it was a little over the top sometimes. Like I feel like they never really explained Georgina's motives that well. Like I feel like every other character they kind of humanized a lot. Georgina, they kind of never like gave her a redemption arc. I feel like they kind of did her dirty in a way where it was like, they treated Georgina as like a separate entity from the rest of the characters. I don't know why she was allowed around them. Like, I feel like they should have kicked her out at times. Like, it didn't make sense for her to be places that she was. Like, why is she in Serena's apartment? Like, they just would have kicked her out. But, like, that felt a little weird to me. And I felt like they could have, like, I would have liked to see Georgina a little more. There was a little more to be like they could have used her a little better as opposed to just throwing her in random places, right? I did like her and Dan teaming up together. They felt like very like likely partners to team up together, like both outcasts but kind of still belong there. I like her being a businesswoman and using her brains to get Dan's books published. Like that felt good and rewarding. But I think they still could have done a little bit more with her. Okay, I also would have liked to see Georgina and Blair team up at one point. We never had that. The Syrian G, there's a girl we know who's Syrian who's in the show. Okay, forget about her. Chuck's dad as Gossip Girl would have been really interesting because, like, if he's the mastermind they make him out to be, him being Gossip Girl would have been an extra fucking layer of, oh, this guy's actually a genius. Like, it was weird because, like, I know, like, Chuck's dad was, like, the guy, but, like, I didn't feel that way in the beginning. In the beginning, like, Chuck's dad felt like Nate's dad. Like, oh, this is a rich dad. This is, like, Serena's mom. And then they brought him back and they made him out to be some criminal mastermind. Like, it felt a little bit forced, right? And that's the whole idea. The end of the show felt very forced and very rushed. And, like, I felt satisfying. The end of the show felt satisfying, but it felt like it was a little, like, it's like you want a show to come together like this, right? But it came here like this. Like, okay, we still got to the same place, but not in the way I wanted it to come to. Okay. Joe's unlikely. Okay, Serena, it could not be Serena. It would have ruined the whole show. Eric, again, I just addressed if you made Eric Gossip Girl, would have been homophobic. Rufus is the most annoying character in the whole show. Bro, you're a himbo. You're washed up. You have no talent. You're a sugar daddy. Accept it. Get off your high horse. You're living on other men's money. All you're doing is living on the money of other men's hard work. Accept it. Go to the studio and, like, put out an album, bro. What are you doing? Like, go to the stew, cook up some fire, and put out an album. Like, you don't, like, just because your band and the rap farts didn't take off, you could still put out music. Like, you don't have to blame your whole life on you marrying a rich girl. Like, it felt so stupid. Like, it actually felt like Lily and Rufus had something, and at the end of the show, it's just like, oh, now it's just one of Lily's 20 ex-husbands. Like, it felt like just like, okay, like, it felt nothing. It felt like the end of the show, like, so Rufus and Lily, the whole nothing. Like, there was no point to them to be together. There was no point for Rufus and Lily to be together. Lily learned nothing from it. Rufus learned nothing from it. It felt like it left them both more sad. Like, what was the point of that? To give it a shot? They gave it a shot. They didn't need to be married to give it a shot. So, like, it just felt kind of stupid. Georgina's baby would have been a great Gossip Girl. Kind of wish she went that direction as well. Chuck would have been stupid. I like Chuck, right? Chuck is a great redemption arc. Chuck goes to therapy and learns, and his therapist screws him, and he still learns from that. Chuck is one of the best developed characters I've seen in all of television. It kind of reminds me of Barney Stinson in a way, the way they developed Chuck's character. I feel like Chuck's was even better because he goes back and forth, and the therapist fucks him, and he still goes back. So I like that a lot. Nate, love that guy. Dead Lily's, Serena's dead grandma could have been Gossip Girl. Okay. I don't know why I didn't think it was Dan. I don't know, like, when I was thinking of Gossip Girl the whole time, like, at first I thought, okay, it might be a guy. And, like, it makes sense. Like, the second it started happening, again, I don't care if it wasn't supposed to be him. In my head, it was always supposed to be him, just so I could kind of accept the show that way. I'm like, yeah, of course it was Dan. Like, who else would it be? He's a writer. He's a weirdo. He's a creeper. He's a stalker. Like, of course it was Dan. He's a loser. Like, yeah, of course it was Dan. Like, I don't know why I didn't think it was him. I think I was just put off, like, I thought, like, I don't know. I thought, like, maybe Gossip Girl was around before Dan. I thought maybe he was too, I don't know. I have to rewatch it, I guess. I'm not sure why I did not think it was Dan. Lola and then Charlie. Charlie's a great character in the show. Amazing actress. Yeah, this is my list. Those are just some ramblings I had. I don't know, like, the show left me a little bit confused. Like, it left me a little confused. It felt a little bit rushed. It felt like, okay, so everyone just accepts that Dan was doing this. Serena accepts it because what? Like, it felt rushed. I felt like the last season was 10 episodes instead of 24. It felt like they just wanted to run out of money or they just wanted to wrap it up. But, yeah, overall, I would say it was a very good show. It hooked me. I was hooked every episode. I like how there was no basketballs in it. I don't know, like, why, because a lot of high school shows have basketball in it, but Gossip Girl, instead of basketball, it's like a ball. There's always a ball in Gossip Girl. They always got to go to a new ball. There's always a fancy event. So I felt that. I felt it was very insightful, very well written. And, yeah, I'm honestly going to miss it. It marks the beginning of an end in my relationship, and I'm always going to remember that show. I'm pissed for not thinking it was Dan, but, yeah, those are my thoughts, and I hope you enjoyed.